Yeah, there are two reasons mainly. One, we're as a venture fund trying to branch out a bit more into other directions beyond healthcare, and so food tech is one of the areas that we find very interesting. Secondly, we feel that such conference is a great starting point to also increase the network of investors, but also meet interesting companies in that space that we could potentially invest in. I think what we find mostly interesting is that intersection of biotechnology and food, which is something that we traditionally, as the venture fund of Merck, being also a life science company, are mostly interested in. So how can you turn biotechnology or biology into revolutionary food products, or translate this into the food industry, which is also why we invested in Mosa Meat, a cultured meat company we find can transform the meat industry, and I think this can follow in other industries as well. Coming from a healthcare sector, we find that validation is key to any product that you actually develop, whether it's food or in the healthcare industry. So one part is certainly validation, and that's both consumer but also essentially technical validation to really ensure that whatever you're producing is safe, is maybe also regulated if it's novel food. So this is basically the fundamental basics of any food company. After that, it probably comes down very much to also market pull at this time, where you have much more ethical consumer and demanding consumers who want to understand more about the food that they're consuming. So we believe that it's definitely a big pull. At the same time, we also are very much in favor of companies that are targeting much broader audience, and not only, let's say, that 10% of consumers that are aware of economical and ecological issues, but essentially still sell products at a price point that is available to anyone. We think it's possibly the investment landscape, and that we see more and more investors coming from other areas and are being interested in food technology just because of that, I think, shift of biotechnology into food. So we do see more of that happening, even though it's still a challenge for startups in that area to get funded. At the same time, we feel that regulators will play a massive role when it comes to anything related to food technology, whether it's genetically modified food, and how novel technologies that will influence food production in the long term, how these are being regulated, and the big role that regulators have to play, and also the education that will essentially allow them to make informed decisions. So these are two aspects that we find quite important.